So this week's episode of Athletes Acting Up is a doozy. We have Xavier Worthy's fiance, Tia Jones, saying that she's been granted a temporary protective order against Worthy after his assault arrest. So the Chiefs wide receiver was arrested Saturday on a charge of assault of a family member and impeding the breathing or circulation. That charge was quickly dismissed by the district attorney. Now, Worthy's attorneys continue to deny these allegations, saying it was Jones that was the aggressor after allegedly cheating on Worthy, tearing up his house, and pulling out his locks.
Why don't you tell me what you feel about this out the gate, so I can just get, because I think the female perspective is really important on topics like this, because as a man, my innate reaction is to try to protect, but I don't know if it's warranted in this situation. So I would like to hear from you first, if you don't mind.
Okay, my first thought was, Xavier, you had a stellar rookie season in Kansas City, right? Like he led the team in touchdowns, which is amazing to do when you got Travis Kelce up here, getting receptions like a receiver. Call the police. And I understand that we're in a climate where, Rodney, listen, I understand we're in a climate where maybe that isn't the smartest thing to do, but you ended up being arrested anyway when you should have just filmed what was going on and called the police or called your attorney or something, or leave the house, call the police, have her removed from the house. Because it didn't look good in the beginning when it first came out. I think that he has a very good legal team that came out and was like, oh no, this not what happened.
Okay, so that was your initial reaction. Where do you stand? Where do you stand right now in this moment?
I still think he should have called the police. When he confronted her, Rodney, when he confronted her.
Samaria. Okay, let's.
I'm saying, okay,
have an honest conversation.
I want to know what you.
Let's have an honest conversation.
We're having an honest conversation.
He's
Xavier Worthy, right? You're Xavier Worthy. You're down in Texas. People remember you from Texas. I think it would have been better for him had he called the police and had her legally removed from his home instead of trying to, it seemed like, maybe take matters into his own hands. He got beat up and he went to jail. And he had to cut his hair because she pulled his hair out.
All right, Samaria, is there any situation that you feel like he would have came out on top? Because if as a man, right, and especially in our community and our culture, if you involve the police in anything, you're already labeled a snitch or some kind of less than individual in our community if you call the police as a black man. If you involve the police in any kind of situation, you are weak, you a B word, you're a whole bunch of things, right? I've seen people get shot, right, and be labeled a snitch because they told the police who shot them. And it's just yeah, but you shot me, so shouldn't I be allowed to tell the people what happened?
A little different.
No. So there's an ideology that exists and that permeates in our community that when you involve the police, you're less than. And if you call the police on a woman, then you really got no backbone and spine. You as a man can't even control a woman in your home environment. There are so many men who really do not know what to do in that moment because as a public figure, he is also now worrying about what the public discourse is going to be around his actions. So yeah, I am Xavier Worthy. I am somebody that people know. I did just have a great rookie season. So that means that my name in any situation is gonna garner a certain level of conversation. And so if I call the police, if she beats me up, so I really don't know what to do. And beyond all that, if I call the police, who's to say once they get here, they're going to know who I am and won't try to treat me as if I'm somebody who's deserving of less than a level of respect that all police officers should approach all humans with and ultimately cost me my life. That is the real life situation that men have to deal with when encountering police officers. It don't matter if you've done nothing wrong. The fact is the outcome can always cost you your life. That's a real thing that we got to deal with.
And I think though, at the end of the day, the police were called and it did not go his way at first. He was still arrested. So I guess for me, I'm saying moving forward, obviously this is not a woman that you can trust because You started digging into whatever she was doing, and you found out allegedly that there was infidelity in the relationship. You asked her to leave your home. She starts to blow up on you. So I felt like at that time, maybe you should have sent a text to your lawyers, and you start filming her doing all of these things.
I'm telling you, calling the police is not the ultimate resolve. The ultimate resolve is to foster and nurture a community where people just can take their L without doing this embarrassing stuff. I feel like there is no accountability. There is no recourse for someone making a false accusation. That does not happen, right? There is no recourse. So if whatever she says, and there's never like a retraction. So whatever she says, if it goes big, if it goes public, if it goes viral, that's the story. And so, like, there has to be some accountability. There has to be some kind of policy put in place that stops people from making false allegations and accusations. And it's because it's getting out of control, especially in this time where narrative is so easily created by virtue of social media. It's not fair. We put in people, and I'm not just saying men, we're putting people at a severe disadvantage, and they're incapable of protecting their legacy, their name, their brand, all of these different things. And it's happening with Jay-Z right now. Right? We just saw Jay-Z have to do this. So what is the recourse here? There has to be some kind of penalty for people making false accusations and allegations. I know this topic went long, and I can get passionate about this because I got a son, and I always wonder, like, damn, what would happen if something like this happened to my son?
All right, last but least.
There's more?
Le'Veon Bell.
Oh!
A civil rape lawsuit by default. Now, he is denying those allegations. The suit was filed by Bell's own cousin in May of last year. When he didn't respond, the judge awarded her $25 million. Bell's lawyers are saying that they never received the proper paperwork. And the details of this case are very disturbing. The things that his cousin is alleging that he did to her for years while she was under the age of 18 is just, oh my God, it's really bad. It seems like maybe he just thought, okay, if I just don't respond, it'll go away. Let me tell you something. Le'Veon, while you was last year calling Kamala Harris a tramp, you should have been worried about this.
See, don't do that.
Because you nasty.
Nasty. You can't call a man nasty if this hasn't been proven to be factual. That's not fair. That's what I mean. We can't just say that something is true because somebody said something happened.
I say he's nasty because of the things that he's done that we've seen with our own eyes, Rodney.
Yeah, but what I don't want to do, but just because he's done one thing that we're not in alignment with doesn't mean that we should label him nasty when we're talking about a potential RAPE situation here. Like, I just don't think that we need to combine those things because they're very separate. Wherever you fall politically is where you fall politically, and I don't care to get into all of that, right? But in terms of this accusation, if it's true, then even worse than $25 million, he should be imprisoned. But if these allegations prove to be false, then I would like for his name to be cleared. You know, it's one thing to be a Trump supporter. It's an entirely another thing to be considered, a arpist.
All right, you all let us know, what did you make of this episode of Athletes Acting Up? I want to hear from you. Who did you feel like had the most shocking week?